Hey everyone! Today we're going to be continuing my Coastal Town series, and in the town today we're going to be building the bakery and cafe. I also want to give a special thanks to everyone who liked, comment, and subscribed to my last video and really showed a lot of love and support. And if you guys haven't already, go out and check that video. It's a Bloxburg starter home renovation. And we reached over 1.2 views so far, which is really awesome. So thank you guys so much. And with all that, let's get into today's video. So while I was formulating the exterior of this bakery, it also did help me come up with a backup story or lore to this place, rather these two places right across from each other. So the clothing boutique that I had built in episode 1 of this series, which if you guys haven't seen that already, go ahead and go watch that. It's episode 1 and it is a clothing boutique shop. But basically, while building the outside of this bakery, I came up with some lore for it because the architecture and details that I used to build it were very similar to the one across the street, and also for them being that close from each other right across from the street, I figured they could be related businesses in some type of way. So basically the backstory of this would be that this is a family owned business, and basically one sister owns the clothing shop while another sister owns the bakery and cafe, and it would make sense of why they literally are directly across from each other and have very similar architectural structures. Okay, since we're talking about a city build, what do you guys think of the new Bloxburg city or park update? I really love it. I think it's really good. It's been one of my favorite updates they've done in a while, and I think my future city builds or any build using those items are going to be wonderful. So for this bakery, I did decide to add a staircase leading up to the roof because I decided to make rooftop seating as well as outside seating and indoor seating, which you will see later on in the video. But I decided to make rooftop seating just an option because I feel like it was a more of a coastal thing. As you will see later, I'm going to include some little dining tables as well as a little waterfall and some palm trees and whatnot, because I really think that when it comes to like having a beachy town, you would be seeing a lot of plants, leafy plants, and a nice overlooking view to maybe view over the entire city as well as overlook the beach. Now, since this is a small town and also a coastal small town, I knew that this cafe and bakery was going to look a little different from a typical cafe you would see in an area such as like New York or somewhere up north. But I tried to still balance out two of the styles, so I kept to a very coastal color palette with the white and blue and a little bit of wood tones, which you will see inside. And then I also tried to keep it classical and fancy with the special wall trims, the pillars, and fences, as well as the spiral staircase. So I think balancing all those elements together really came out cute, and I got what I was going for the most part. So I really wanted to include outdoor seating, and therefore I needed some outdoor tables. So I ended up making custom because the one that I did like in Bloxburg was a little bit too wide for me, and also I needed more height on it. So I used it as a reference, as you can see here on the left, and I made my own on the right, and I think it came out pretty cute and went with the glamorous chairs a lot more. So as I was wrapping up the exterior, I just added some finishing details like a trash can, some lighting, a floor mat, and a menu sign before you walk in, and this is how the exterior looked. Now for the rooftop seating, I obviously had to have a way for people to walk up here without falling on their faces, so I decided to use these mini stair steps, and I just layered them to where I needed them, and I think it came out really good. Like, it blends pretty well with what I had the flooring as. And then I just placed some tables around, and I made space for a fountain that I was going to place in the middle, as well as some trees in the corner. And I really love this view. This is definitely the best view in the whole town, and once the whole town is finished, I just know that the views from here are going to be like really nice. I honestly think it's one of the best ideas I could have had added as an addition to this bakery and cafe. Like, imagine literally sitting here in real life and you just sitting on top of a rooftop looking over the beach and all the shops and the neighborhood. It's just a wonderful idea. Especially when you can get like a sweet treat, like a croissant or cupcake or like any type of pastry with like a coffee or tea. You can just walk up the stairs or sit outside and just enjoy the nature and scenery. I find that those little moments are really special, like even in real life, to just go out and really sit outside sometimes and just enjoy yourself. So then I added all the leafy plants I could, and this is a little awkward to say because at the beginning of this series I said that I was going to be like maxed out level gardening, have all the palm trees, but no, we're still using the exotic tree for now. I will get there eventually. It's just so hard to level up, like compared to everything else. Gardening takes so long. But either way, this is how the rooftop seating looked. Alright, so moving on to the interior, I went with a simple light wood flooring. Of course, you know, it's a common theme in this town. It just gives me coastal vibes, I don't know why. But anyways, for the kitchen, I really just wanted to go with a lot of the retro appliances, and there was a meaning behind this. So in the beginning of this video, I stated that this shop was a family-owned business, and usually family-owned businesses aren't big on having the most fanciest equipment. Usually it's very homegrown and they kind of are more useful in their resources. So I decided that using more of a retro or vintage kitchen would make more sense in this case. So that is why I made sure to just use the retro appliances and regular shelves and all that, like wooden floating shelves and just things that make it feel like this is a home kitchen and you know that the food here is authentic. I also kept in mind that relatively the shops in this town are very small and I have limited space to work in, but I still wanted to make the kitchen spacious enough to where I could have an area for appliances, an area for prepping, and an area for the display cases and cashing out area, as well as a takeout area. So I made the back wall the area where I have the sink, stove, and fridge, as well as some shelves for extra storage, and there could also be storage over the fridge and over the oven hood. And then to the left of that, I made it countertop space for prepping, and in the front, the very front, I wanted to make the display cases area, and I did do a lot of the display cases, meaning making the food and baking off camera because obviously that takes a long time for all those pastries, and I didn't want to bore you guys, so you guys will see that I did do that off camera. But they came out really awesome in the end, and I also prepared like all of the jellies, and that was literally my favorite little detail. I'm telling you, when you see the little jellies on the shelves later on, it's so aesthetic. Also, here's a tip if you're really trying to level up in your cooking skill. Literally, if you're doing a build that's like a restaurant theme or anything like that, just make as much food as you can or that fits your theme and you will level up so fast. That's how I literally maxed out so fast in cooking skill. Like, I would make like bakeries, restaurants, all that type of stuff, and I would literally just get so involved in the game that I wouldn't even think about me actually leveling up the game until I was like, oh, okay, I'm finally to where I wanted to be and unlocked all the dishes I need. Okay, so back to the build. You can see me making the prepping area with like the cutting board with the bowl and all the ingredients. I thought that was a very smart detail and making it seem like it was in motion, like somebody's literally working here. And I also am adding some little coffee mugs and all that to the tables to make it seem like we have customers. And then you can see me making a to-go area for pickup orders or like DoorDash orders, because I love to do that. I don't know why, but the little bags just in boxes make me just feel so cute. And I made a little checkout area, and you can also see all the display, and this is my favorite part when I got to add like all the little details, especially all the little jellies. You'll see it in a minute, and it's just so adorable. Like, looking at the speed build of me placing them on my shelf is literally making me reminisce on doing all these jellies. I don't know why. So we have our exterior here, which I think looks gorgeous. And then in here, oh yeah, let's go over here. So we have our outside seating here, and we have another outside seating on this side. And I decided to put fences here because if there's a car, we don't want it to crash into the people while they're eating. Anyways, we have our menu, and then we can go inside. So we have our mini booths here that can seat two, and we have another side here. It's awesome. Look at the little hot cocoa marshmallows. I love that. Then we have our trash, obviously. We have our prepping area right here. We have our condiments. So like these are different flavorings like vanilla, strawberry, chocolate. And then we have all our pastries in this display case, and I think it's so adorable. Like, it's honestly so adorable. Let me like do parkour to like get over here, but look at that. Oh my goodness. That is so aesthetic. We have all our cakes too. And then over here, we have our checkout area, and we have some more like bread, pastries or whatever. And then we have our to-go. So if you have an order that's to go, you just grab your bag off the shelf. And then we have to do more parkour. So we have our favorite part, the jellies here. Awesome. And then we have our stove and oven for baking. We have our sink for cleaning and our fridge for things that we need. And we have another menu here. And then above all that, we have more appliances. So we have a tea kettle. We've got our toaster, and we've got a coffee maker, some jars with like sugar and flour. We've got some extra plates and cups. And then we have our jam making station right there. But it's not over yet, folks. Hold on. Oh my gosh. This is chaotic. Okay. So through here, there's another place, another door. So this leads upstairs. Huh. Okay. So we can go upstairs, and there is a fountain, and then we have a bunch of more seating up here. I think this looks amazing, and you can see what I'm talking about with the view. Like, you get to see everything. This is honestly the best view. And then we have more plants here. So I think it looks awesome. Yeah. Okay, that's it. On to outro. Alright guys, I know this is like super late, but it's something funny. So you guys remember we had the April Fool's update? Yeah, that was also very fun, especially because me and my best friend literally went around the whole map like in a golf cart and just collected all of our ducks so many times. And we also had to walk around the whole mountain area to get the mermaid duck, and I got it first, but it didn't work for my best friend, so we literally had to camp out. I have pictures, I will put pictures, but we literally drowned so many times, we fell off the mountain so many times, but that was like the most fun we've had in Bloxburg in a long time. And yes, eventually she did get the mermaid duck after respawning the neighborhood, so I thought that would just be funny and nice to share. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. I did. I had fun making it. It was definitely one of the more fun and detailed builds, so I love it. I know that we have a lot more episodes to come with this series, but I think it'll be a fun journey to enjoy. We're going to love the ending result, I already know. I plan on doing a really big tour for whenever I finish this, so we will see everything in depth as a whole. But I don't want to bore you guys with such a long outro, so I again want to thank all of you who subscribed, liked, comment, and did all that and showed all that support last video, and I really appreciate it. And you know, stay tuned for more because I do have this series, but I also do make other types of content on this channel, so more videos to come, and hopefully I make things that you guys enjoy watching and brings a little joy to your day. And as always, I love you all. Like, comment, and subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next week. Bye everyone.